Want to learn how to be an entrepreneur?
You are dedicated and devoted to a life of developing new ideas and innovations, willing to take calculated career risks, achieving independent wealth and success. Then you are ready to experience the entrepreneur effect. We'll highlight opportunities for entrepreneurs in digital marketing through interesting, practical, and thought-provoking interviews and monologues. Increase your income and be your own boss by listening to The Entrepreneur Effect. Please welcome your host, a 25-year veteran in sales, management, and business development, Dush Ramachandran.
Hi, this is Dush Ramachandran with Entrepreneur Effect. Our guest today is Reid, who is the founder and CEO of Ardor SEO, which is an SEO provider based out of Phnom Penh in Cambodia. Quite a different location from where most of our guests come from, but this is going to be really interesting. So welcome, Kris. Glad to have you on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Wonderful. So, as I said, you're based in Phnom Penh in Cambodia, which is fairly different from where most of our guests are. Most of our guests come from either the US, the UK, Australia, Canada, and so on, but rarely do we have anybody from Phnom Penh. So certainly looking forward to learning more. Can you tell us how you came to find yourself in Phnom Penh?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Australia myself, but I'd been living in Europe for about 6 years. Then I was planning on moving to the Philippines as I already had a lot of online staff, and I thought, man, it's time to get serious, and to do that I need to have an office and move to the Philippines. But in between there, I fell in love with a Russian woman and moved to Russia instead. And Russian winters are rather brutal. Man, at the end of a winter in Siberia, I was like, I'm out of here. I called my father, who just happened to be passing through Cambodia. I said, wait there, I'll come and meet you. Met him in Phnom Penh. We both loved it and stayed pretty much ever since.
Now, is your father engaged in the business with you?
No, he's not. He has his own online business, so he has that freedom of travel as well. But he really loves it here. I ended up moving to the Philippines because that is a better place for business than here. Well, it was then. But then I really like it here, so I do spend more time here than there.
Excellent. So that's really interesting. And how long ago was that?
So it was about 4 years ago.
Okay. So now you've been there a while. You're virtually a native. So there are lots of our listeners who are digital nomads, so to speak. They tend to travel a lot and, different locations and so on. So what would you say are some of the key attractions in terms of a business person of locating your business or locating yourself in Cambodia?
Well, it's got some different effects. I like it because it's a small city. You can get anywhere you want, like in not too takes 15 minutes. It's great, but there's still real diversity. There's a restaurant from every cuisine you could name, so I like that. Plus, the bar scene, you run into people that you know, which is nice. And in regards to acquiring staff, it can be a bit tricky because there's not that many to pick from, but there's also less competition. So like Bangkok has quite a lot of SEO companies, quite a few that we even work with. But they then have to compete with salaries and whatnot because you want the best guys, where we don't really have any competition here in Cambodia. So if you want to work in the digital marketing space, well, we're the number one company. So it gives us an advantage.
Okay. And in terms of other things that you would look for in a business, fast broadband connection, direct flights to number of different locations, if you wanted to travel, reliable internet, reliable electricity. How are those things?
So I spend half my time living in Davao in the Philippines and half my time living here. Like I'm here this month and next month I'm in the Philippines. The Philippines, especially Mindanao, the South Island, has terrible internet, and during the summer has brownouts like 6 hours a day. The electricity doesn't work. But we have a generator, so it's okay. Here, the electricity is always on, pretty much because they buy it from Vietnam. So Vietnam makes a killing selling it here, so they make sure they always have it. The internet is very good. It's very stable and quite fast. It's quite expensive, but it's decent. It's not really a hub, so if you want to go anywhere, you have to fly to Hong Kong or Bangkok. It's a small town, and that's kind of the charm of it.
Great. Okay. So in terms of your business, you're an SEO company. So are your clients primarily Cambodian companies? Are they Southeast Asian companies? Or do you have clients who are further afield, like Australia, New Zealand, and the US and the UK and so on?
So we got two brands. One is Audits SEO, which is our retail brand where we work with primarily Australian, UK, US customers. We have a very few Cambodian, but it's not somewhere that we really push. But our other brand is Audit Media Factory, and we're a kind of a SEO outsourcer. So lots of SEO companies based in, again, Australia, UK, US, come to us because we're based in the Philippines, we're based here. Here we've got pretty much exclusively expat staff, so we can provide just as good a quality, if not better, than you can in the Western world, but you can't beat us on price. So, they just eventually go, well, you do a better job, so we'll use you rather than doing it ourselves.
Okay. And so as you've developed this business and built up your reputation, you've been at it for 4 years, so you're at a point where you're probably far better known than you were when you first started. What are some of the challenges you encountered, either being in the SEO business or being in the SEO business but being located in Cambodia? Any particular challenges that you want to talk about?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, because SEO, the barrier to entry is none. All you have to say is, I'm an SEO, and then you're an SEO. And so a lot of it is trust, because like if you're taking over someone's brand or dealing with someone's site, you're really getting in bed with each other. You have so much influence on their brand and you can destroy it. So it's really hard to make that commitment, and it would be nice, I do believe, being in town. Like, still, I'm from Brisbane, Australia, and the majority of our customers are from Brisbane, Australia, just because I relate the best to people from there. Even if I'm speaking to them on the phone and I've never met them in person, when we talk about Brisbane, well, you have that rapport and trust. And so do I with other Australians. And then, the UK and then the US, obviously we're quite different to Americans, so it's harder to relate. So being based in the country, being in the States, I'm sure would have some great advantages. But, we're making up with that by trying to have great marketing,
Okay, wonderful. And then in terms of how your customers or your clients communicate with you on a regular basis, do you have regular phone conversations or Skype conversations with your clients, or do you have to get on a plane, go visit them? How do these things work?
Some clients we do go visit when, but that's more because we like hanging out. But generally, Skype call's more than enough to understand what they need.
Well, let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more of our chat with Kris Reid. Stay tuned. Don't go away.
Stay tuned for more of the Entrepreneur Effect when we return.
Is your website hacked? Is your website displaying error messages or loading slowly? Even if there are no signs of malicious activity, your site may still be compromised. Websites, like cars, require regular maintenance to perform at their best and not leave you stranded. At Fjorge, our website maintenance experts can help you assess which one of our maintenance plans will best support your needs. Visit fjorddigital.com or call 612-877-3840 and get the support and protection your website and business deserve. That's FJORGE digital.com.
Are you paying too much for your paid advertising, or have you quit altogether because it seemed like a huge waste of money? Studies show that companies waste 25% of their PPC spend on average. The web marketing experts at WMEtraining.com can show you how to make your AdWords account a lean, mean converting machine. Whether you're just starting out or want to take your skills to the next level, we have a class for you. Contact the web marketing experts at WMEtraining.com.
Hey, this is Danny Sullivan to talk to you about Bruce Clay Incorporated. They've made Inc. magazine's list of growing private businesses and have exhibited and sponsored at my conferences since the very beginning. You've seen their search engine relationship chart, or you've read their SEO code of ethics, so you know they're SEO experts. But did you know they can help you with PPC, web analytics, web design, marketing strategy, promotion, and branding? Yep, get everything you need for success in the online marketplace. You can check it out from the professionals at Bruce Clay Incorporated. For over 10 years with offices worldwide, they've got the answers you need. Check them out today at bruceclay.com.
You are experiencing the entrepreneur effect. Here's Dush Ramachandran.
And we're back. This is Dush Ramachandran with Entrepreneur Effect. And our guest today is Kris Reid, who's the founder and CEO of Ardor SEO, based in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. So, Kris, that was really interesting, as we were talking about in the last segment about, starting a business in Cambodia and serving clients in Australia and so on. And it really takes a certain character, if you will, to pick up sticks and move to a different country, a strange country, and then set up a business there and thrive. So congratulations on having pulled that off. That is truly an achievement.
Thank you.
On that basis, what advice would you give to entrepreneurs who are contemplating such a thing? Perhaps not, moving to Cambodia, but maybe they're in the U.S. thinking, it might be nice to go live in Mexico by the beach. Or they might be in the UK thinking it might be fun to go live in Malta, again with the sunshine and so on. So for people contemplating that kind of a change, what advice would you give them?
Oh, to go and do it for sure. I mean, we work on the internet, right? So you can communicate with people anywhere. I mean, right now you and I are on the opposite sides of the earth. It's great. You can have a conversation like you're in the same room. And so there's nothing really stopping you from doing it. I mean, every country has the internet these days. That's all you need to do business.
Right. But, there are practical issues like, finding an office, hiring staff. And if you don't speak the local language, then there's the issue of being understood, all of those sorts of things. What about the practical considerations?
Generally, Western countries are the most expensive countries, and so they can be difficult to start a business because generally when you're starting a business, you don't have much capital unless you're one of the lucky few. And so it can give you a real advantage of, having cheaper rents, cheaper labor costs. That's why the Philippines is a great place because outside of any native English-speaking country, they by far have the best level of English, which is why we have an office there. I'm sure Mexico, the average Mexican's English probably isn't very great. I've never been to Mexico, but I'm sure there's still plenty of Americans that want to live in Mexico as well. So, if you set up office there, I'm sure it wouldn't be too hard to recruit someone from the US to come on down and work for you.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so in terms of your own experience, if you were to do it again, what changes would you make? Would you do anything differently, or would you do exactly what you've done so far?
I certainly wouldn't do it the same. I would do it a lot better. I've learnt from mistakes, and I wouldn't make those mistakes anymore. I know how to hire people better. I know how to lead people better. I mean, I don't know how you learn that. I suppose I'd probably read more books now and try and learn more from other people. I'd guess that's advice that I'd give myself, to try and read more and learn more quicker. But the rest just comes through experience.
Right. And so specifically, can you point to one thing that you've done that in retrospect, thinking back, you say, well, I wouldn't have done that way. I would have done it differently. And what would that be?
So I've had some problems with staff. So recently, a really trusted office manager in the Philippines, it turned out that she'd been embezzling money for quite some time. And it really hurt to have that trust broken. And it was quite a significant amount of money. That was an issue. And I've tried not to let it limit me. I tried to focus on the positive of it, that it's taught us to put in some measures in place, that we need to have checks and balances. And so it's better that we had that issue now as a company than in a year or 2 years, where it would have been a larger sum of money. But I still try not to let it affect me personally, and still keep that trust in other staff, So you make mistakes, but try not to grow wounds,
Great.
Calluses.
Sure. So talk a little bit, if you would, about the sorts of checks and balances that you might put in place. Again, this is hugely useful for our listeners, many of whom are probably in exactly the same place, where they've set up a business, they're traveling, and they've got somebody in a position of trust that they've given the keys to the kingdom. And, as it happens in some of these cases, that trust is abused by that employee, unfortunately. And so what kind of checks and balances would you put in place, or would you advise another entrepreneur to put in place?
I would still focus on what you're good at. If you're building a business, it's your bottom line that's the most important thing. And so I was so busy, making sales and bringing in new business, that I didn't notice money disappearing out the back door. And so, we got checks and balances now that when there's money issued to someone to pay for something, they have to sign off for it and then bring receipts and get them signed back. Basic accounting rules. It's not that hard, but I'd still not change your focus away from what's really important. Sure, bad stuff can happen, but if you're not doing the good stuff, it doesn't really matter anyway, does it? If you're sitting there so concerned that someone's going to steal your eggs before you've even got any, then I think you're looking at it the wrong way,
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so now that you've built a business, you have a solid system, you have checks and balances, you have employees in multiple locations in Cambodia and in the Philippines and so on. What would you say is, again, the biggest challenge of managing people from a remote location? Because, when you've got employees in 2 locations, you're in Cambodia, they're in the Philippines, or you're in the Philippines and they're in Cambodia. What are some of the challenges of managing people in multiple different locations, and how have you coped with those challenges?
I think the hardest part is selling people the dream of where we're headed and what's the direction, and keeping them fired up. I'm really passionate about what I do, and when I'm with people, I can drive that passion into them and inspire them, and they work really great. But when they're by themselves and isolated, they tend to, and we might be working on a new project and they don't get to see that because they're stuck working on an old project, and I haven't even passed on that information to them. And it gets challenging as we've grown to, we have 50 plus staff now. It's hard to pass that sort of information across that many people, And so we do have team nights out. It's like, I just got back to Cambodia about 2 weeks ago and took the team out for dinner and a big powwow session. And I think it's really important to have those sort of team bonding evenings.
Great. And people get a shot of energy from being with you and understanding the vision and where you're going and how they can impact the change and so on. So that's great. So looking out, we'll probably talk about this in the third segment because we just have about a minute or so left. But very quickly, looking out to the future, what are some of the key things that you're looking to achieve? Are you looking to open other locations? Are you looking to hire more people? Are you, just very briefly, we have 1 minute. What are your future thoughts, and how do you plan to drive this forward?
I'm learning new skills, learning more about marketing to take over those sort of strengths from our customers. So we are really good at driving new traffic to websites and getting them ranked, but converting that traffic into customers is, a lot of web designers make crappy websites that, sure, they say, here I am, but they don't convert to customers. And so, I really want to improve on that and provide that as a service.
Great. Okay. Well, let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll have more of our chat with Kris Reid. Stay tuned. Don't go away.
Stay tuned for more of the Entrepreneur Effect when we return.
Is buying something that is made in the USA important to you? How do you know that it really is made in the USA? Certified Inc. is the only supply chain audit company on the planet which qualifies country of origin labeling. If it's important to you as a consumer to know where the products you buy and use in your own home come from, then it's also important for your customers. Visit us at madeinusa.net and find out more. Go to madeinusa.net because it's that important.
Great websites today need expert web design and development and need to be e-commerce ready and mobile friendly. But building a marketable and profitable website can be an uphill climb. Ready to make your new website or replace your existing website? Think Orange as the new way to get in the black. Orange Hill Development works with Fortune 500 companies and offer the same top quality development service at a fraction of what other providers charge. Brands like Absolute, Carlsberg, and Nestea trust Orange Hill Development. Find out why you should trust your website with Orange Hill. Contact Orange Hill for a consultation today at orangehilldevelopment.com. Looking for a better way to get more traffic and interaction to your Facebook page? Imagine Facebook interactivity on your page like you've never seen. Introducing your new Facebook marketing fix, So Social, the new and revolutionary way to easily manage and automate your Facebook contests and sweepstakes. Create a fun, easy-to-win contest by writing a simple Facebook post. Watch your post go more viral and generate loads of interaction. Track your traffic and generate email lists with ease. So Social is mobile-friendly and complies with Facebook Terms of Service. Let So Social give your Facebook page some flash today. Zoom over to zosocial.com.
You are experiencing the Entrepreneur Effect. Here's Dush Ramachandran.
And we're back. This is Dush Ramachandran with Entrepreneur Effect. And our guest today is Kris Reid, who is the founder and CEO of Ardor SEO, a company based in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. So, Kris, that's really interesting that you're talking about your future plans, learning more skills, taking on marketing and other functions from your clients. What's the cross section of your clients? What do they look like? I mean, are they typically brick and mortar companies, or are they online companies looking to sell products on their websites? Tell us a little bit about your clients.
So we certainly have a lot of SEO companies, and so they have customers that are for everything you can imagine. But ourselves, our retail customers, we try and stick away from the smaller guys. We prefer to have kind of medium-sized businesses just because they are more interesting to work with. You have bigger budgets that you can experiment with more and do more fun things. And generally, they're less time-consuming. Small customers like a mum and pump shop or a small plumber or something that spends a couple $100 a month, they're generally tight on their marketing budget and then expect an ounce of blood for every cent they pay, and it can be really challenging just the reporting time to deal with them, where a larger company has more of an idea of what you're doing and then lets you get on with it. But, we've got everything from big debt mediators to printer repair companies. There's no set niche that we look at.
Okay. And what are you particularly excited about going into the future? What are your future plans? And is there anything that you'd want to offer to our listeners?
It's always easier to provide new services to existing customers than get new customers. And we've grown a lot by doing that. And, we've started doing chat support, so looking after customers that have a lot of traffic to their Facebook pages and websites. We have a chat team that will, greet the customers and answer any questions they have and, capture leads so then their sales staff can talk to them. And then again, working on this marketing stuff, building sales funnels for customers. That's really where we're focusing our growth on, and it's great.
Great. So when you talk about chat customers, this is live chat that goes on the website. Now,
exactly. So when someone comes to your website and a little chat bubble pops up.
Yeah, right. So is that done in English? Are your staff chatting in English with clients?
They certainly are. They're Filipino, but they speak excellent English, yes.
Okay. And you don't have the Cambodians doing that, do you? Or are they?
In Cambodia, the English level is appalling, really. So, no.
Okay, great. And so for our listeners, some of whom may be interested in SEO or in working with your firm, so what would you say? You would want to offer to our listeners?
Yeah, so we've put together a special competition for your listeners where you can win a website audit. And I tell you, these audits are huge. We look at absolutely every one of the 200 plus points that Google use to measure where your website ranks. We look at site speed, navigability, your internal links, outbound links, backlinks, click-through rates, bounce rates, everything you need. These audits can come out to 60 to 80 pages worth of data, depending on the state of your website. And it's really a lot of work. So the winner of this competition's in for a real treat. And to enter the competition, all you need to do is throw your name into the hat, and you can do that at Ardor SEO. That's ARDOR SEO.com/entrepreneur-effect.
Okay, great. So that is ARDORSEO.com, ARDORSEO.com/entrepreneur-effect, and entrepreneur-effect is one word. And so once you go to that URL, you'll find the site audit opportunity, and then you can put in your URL and I guess have your site audited. Is that right?
Well, it's a competition. It's a manual bit of work that our team does, and it's like a full-time job. It takes over a week. We normally charge $2,000 for it, so it's a lot of work. So it's a competition for one of you guys to win that. Unfortunately we can't do it for every one of your listeners.
Okay, got it. Understand. Okay, well, great. So that's a great opportunity for any of our listeners to have their site audited. So I would strongly encourage you to go to the URL Ardor SEO, ARDORSEO.com/entrepreneur-effect, and enter your details to win an opportunity for a site audit. I think that's a great offer. Thank you very much, Kris. It's been great. Any parting wisdom, any last words that you want to offer to our listeners before we sign off?
Not really, but I mean, if anyone wants any information on SEO or Cambodia or the Philippines, or if you're dropping by Phnom Penh and want to have a beer, feel free to contact me. My email is Kris, Kris, @ArdorSEO.com.
Very good. So you may end up with a lot of people calling you up, suggesting a beer, but that'll be fun.
Indeed.
Good deal. Well, thank you, Kris. Appreciate your time, and thanks for coming on the show. And we wish you all the very best.
Bye-bye.
All right. Great. Thanks.
The opinions expressed are those of the hosts and their guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of Cranberry News Marketing and Cranberry.fm. Rebroadcasts or retransmission of this content without proper consent is prohibited.